like 6 months into me moving to New York, I started working at a photo studio in the equipment room at Root Studios. It was in Brooklyn. They were on the tier of like Milk Studios, so like high-end fashion focused. Like never been exposed to anything like this. I could barely open a C-stand when I started there. So like, you know, I think that is one of the best things I ever did for myself was working there. While I was assisting, I was still shooting things, mostly just personal stuff. I was just like shooting my friends. A lot of my friends were artists or musicians. This was in New York, so I would shoot portraits of them. A friend of mine ran a blog, so I would like shoot music related things for the blog. You know, just kind of doing whatever and just trying to make a portfolio. Back in 2023, I went to Greenland. Originally, this project started off as actually an editorial pitch. I was not planning on making this into a multi-year fine art documentary project at all. I was looking at it more from the lens of editorial pitches and photographing this group of scientists out in Greenland who were studying the ice sheet melt. It got me thinking like, oh, like this could be a cool editorial project. Like I should maybe like make a pitch deck and reach out to some editors, and decided to try to do that. No one picked it up. And no, I had a couple like a couple places interested, but no place interested enough to commit to it. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to go and I'm just going to make some work about it. And I decided to do it. I spent 7 weeks out there for my first trip, and we ended up making some work about these scientists. But I quickly realized when I was there that this project is not about them, and that this place evoked a lot of internal emotions from me. And I didn't really know what this was going to be about, but I did know that this place was fascinating, both as a landscape and culturally. And I was very influenced by the research project that they were doing, because they're doing this kind of like large scale, like macro to micro perspective on how the ice sheet melt is going to affect us all. And I just got really into this idea of like looking at this one specific thing, the ice sheet itself affecting the landscape around us. So I just got really committed to wanting to go back and make more photographs. And yeah, I spent 2.5 years shooting there, trying to go back as often as I can, and making a body of work that essentially I like to say it's an atlas of a place, but atlas in the contemporary sense is like a place with like a book with a collection of maps and some information about a place. But the original intent, the original idea of an atlas by Mercator was like how we exist within the universe. So I like this idea of making a body of work about a place and how we exist within this place. Approaching people on the street. A lot of the portraits that I did for this book, I did approach people on the street and ask them to take their photo. Sometimes it was like approaching them on the street. Sometimes it was like through a friend being like, hey, I think this person might be down to get their picture taken or something like that. But again, I'm shooting on a digital camera, so that it ends up becoming, it feels transactional essentially because you're so quick and there's like, so I like to spend time talking to them before I even like bust a camera out or start to take a real photo. I want to get to know them. The photos of the two boys that are like climbing on top of each other, there's that picture. That was like funny. That was like a happenstance where I was just like on a walk outside. These two young kids are starting to like jump off the pier and go swimming. And granted, it's like, it's summer, but it's like, it's still like 50 degrees out. It's like, it's cold for swimming, and the water's even colder, you know? So like, but I had my camera and I just took photos of them jumping off the pier. And then they were like, they thought it was cool. Like I was taking their picture. So they started like hamming it up for me for camera, you know? And then they're like, oh, we do gymnastics. And they started like climbing on top of each other. Like, that photo was like in the middle of that, of them like climbing on top of each other to show off that like they could stand on each other's shoulders and stuff. But again, like I talked to them first before I started really like shooting them, other than like the act of jumping. Even that was like this happenstance street photo where I talked to them first and then they're just like into the whole thing. I will say that in certain situations, I am really like calculated and mindful. I'd shoot on a tripod. I've been trying to shoot on a tripod more often, and I do try to use it. Like when possible. I think even when I don't need it, it's more of like a strategy thing. Like you said, like big camera, big 4x5, people are like, oh, what's this guy doing? Even with the digital camera, when you put a big digital camera on a tripod, everyone's like, yo, what is this guy doing? It's like suddenly becomes this more of like a mind shift because it feels much more intentional and people can recognize that versus when like you have the little Leica or whatever and you just like go and grab something and moving, because now people can, I feel like people get a little suspicious of that. So I try to like use a tripod whenever I can to create intentionality, whether that be with portraiture or otherwise. And I also think too, to answer your question, I am somebody who shoots a lot because I come from that like editorial photojournalism background where like you capture what's in front of you because there's, you know, numbers matter, right? Like quantity can matter. As much as I want to be like the single shot 4x5 or something similar guy, I'm not. I'm somebody who like likes shooting, making a lot of work, and whether I'm always trying to be intentional. So I don't want to say like I'm just shooting and spraying and praying, nothing like that. But I do shoot a lot quickly because I do find that those in-between moments, like the boys is like an in-between moment to the actual act that they were doing. But I feel like it's such an intimate and tender feeling image. I wouldn't have got it if I was just thinking of like just the one thing. I would have ended up with something that I probably wouldn't have ever made it into the book. So like, you know, that first trip, for example, because I was like, I was kind of working in this way that I was a little bit aimless, a little bit more just kind of like being present and just making work as I saw fit versus like hyper intentional and concept focused. That first trip, I think I had like 12,000 photos or something. I was gone for 7 weeks, so I shot a lot. And so from there, I'm like dwindling down those like 12,000 photos to like 200. I think before I presented it, before Deadbeat and I started doing the serious edit for the book, I think I was at 84 is like what I presented as like, here is what we can work with. And I don't know, maybe like a handful, maybe like, I think maybe 30 or 40 outtakes. And, but here's like 84 images that I'm based the sequence off of. And now we can have a dialogue about how we can edit this down further and make like the best sequence we possibly can. I like books that give me whiplash. I like books that are like feel like a roller coaster. I like books that are like jazz, essentially, where there's a lot of change and variation. But I like it when I turn a page and I see something that I was not expecting. And the more it becomes repetitious, the more bored I get. Granted, totally could be ADHD brain there, but I really like it when I'm getting kind of like thrown around, like almost like I'm on a roller coaster, you know? And I'm like, oh, here's the dip, and here's like a, you know, we're going to climb now, and now we're going to drop like crazy, and here's a loop, and here's all this other stuff. I like being surprised. My favorite photographer of all time, Lars Tombjort. Definitely big inspo, both for his use of color, but also like just the way he sees the world. And like, I don't know, like I really like how he does all these very like cool, like street photos, all shot medium format, I think, natural light, etc. But then I really love these like kind of unexpected, more bizarre moments using flash and like the mixture of the two. And I think he's a big inspo point for me. And I feel like his work, he's really good at blending those two and making it feel very natural between the two. Sometimes it can feel a little jarring to have like a very like hard flash photo and then like some like beautiful natural light. And I think he does it really well, especially with the use of his color. So always a big inspo point for me. I knew Clint from Deadbeat from moving to LA. We had a lot of mutual friends, and like we knew each other socially. It wasn't like I didn't meet him in a more formal way. So, but at Chico, Clint was one of the reviewers at Chico. I didn't have him as a reviewer, but he was there. So since I had some of that early work on there was like one of those peer nights where you get to like take a table and like put your work out for like everyone to see. I did that, and he came over to the table and looked at it and really liked it. I was like, hey, like, you know, when you have some more stuff, like hit me up. I was like, okay, cool. Deadbeat was always a publisher I was interested in working with. Most like for a variety of reasons. Like I think they make amazing books. They have great artists that they work with. Clint and Alex are absolutely wonderful people. So it was like, they were always folks I would always consider. They worked with some of my friends before, you know, so many things. Meet up. I showed them some stuff as I came back from trips, and then Clint's like, you're not done, but like, this is looking really good. And I was like, cool. Like someone who really believes in this feels really good. And you know, they were always somebody I looked at as like folks I really want to like work with. Because for me, as much as we like to idolize or think highly of like certain publishers, because they've made some amazing books in the past and things like that, I'm somebody who fundamentally believes that like people are more important than the final product, and that like I could be on the biggest publisher in the world, whatever. I don't know, that's subjective to whoever it is, but like, you know, you could be your dream publisher, and then you meet the people behind it, and you're like, you know, these people don't really understand what I'm going for, or you know, I'd rather be in bed with people who really like care about me, care about the work that I'm trying to do, and are like as excited about it as I am. You know, I want that reciprocal energy, and they really give that, and that's something I really appreciate with them. I came in with like an 84 image edit, and I was pretty prepared to like cull it down into the 60s. You know, that was my expectation. You know, I'm not thinking that I'm gonna have like something as many images as this is. And then final edit ended up being 83. So I was surprised. I think we took 4 photos out, and then we added 3 photos that weren't in the original sequence. So that's how we ended up with the edit. And I was really surprised, but also really happy that it felt like the effort and time that I put into sequencing and editing felt really worth it. It was like there was a clear intention and idea with that, and you know, having folks who aren't as close to the work, who haven't been sitting with it on their walls for months, come back and be like, yeah, this is very strong. and here's just a couple tweaks to make it a little stronger. It's like, when you read a novel, you don't think of like the book at the end of reading the novel. There might be a handful of lines that you're like, wow, this line was really good. But the rest of it is really just like, how do you like reading the whole book and how do you feel after finishing it, right? You don't really, maybe you highlight a couple of those lines and remember them for later, and that's about it, So same rules kind of apply for the photo book, where there are going to be those couple photos that are really special, that really, make the mark of the book. But then it's really the sequence is really the thing that's going to guide you through the whole thing and see how you feel at the end of that. It really, making your own personal work really is, whatever that personal work is, just making photos that no one else is paying you to do is more important than ever. And, creating your own artistic voice, visual language, whatever you want to call it, is so important, because as much as there are all these external forces out there, less assignments, less money, AI, all that stuff, like if you are able to create a voice for yourself, people will want it. There's a reason why we like certain bands, and we'll always listen to them, even though there's another band that sounds just like them, but you feel connected to that one band, or that one author, or that poet, or that photographer, or that painter, so on and so forth.